Craving adventure? You picked the right video. This is the Munda Biddi, a bike trail whose name is adopted from the local indigenous language, meaning path through the forest. Your guide along this journey is Jake. Saddling up on a $100 second-hand mountain bike, we'll follow Jake over a month and a distance exceeding 1,000 kilometres. Along the way, you'll learn snippets of the indigenous language and culture, experience local wildlife, and cruise through the ancient forests all the way to the pristine beaches. So saddle up, strap on your helmet, and join Jake on the ride of a lifetime.
Yeah, yesterday afternoon was getting pretty rough with that wind. Getting to Cozy Corner and the rain started to set in. I said, bugger it, I know a place. Let's go up to the hiker's hut and see if there's any hikers there that wouldn't mind us sharing the night with them. So I found the place after getting a little lost, because it is well hidden, and there was no hikers, which is strange for this time of year because it is peak season. But I get it. They must have bunkered down somewhere else. Not a long ride into Albany today. Tor Bay hut certainly is one of the nicer ones. The mosquitoes are bad. Slept well last night, yeah, really well. Going along the pathway here, and the back tyre didn't just get a puncture, it went bang. So let's do some roadside mechanics. Have a look at that. That's something different. Looks like it had been sliced by something, but no, just popped. We are just around the corner from Ellicott, and there might have been a servo back there where our good mate Pete can ride around to, pump this thing up and bring it back. Had this happened elsewhere, I would have been stranded. It's only getting the tiniest amount of air in there. Pete has just found a bloke 150 metres back that way who's using a air tool at the moment on his compressor, and he said yep, sure. So that tube lasted a track pretty rare not to have, you know, to go through the whole track and not have a flat, so well done. Enough said. So we found a tavern just up the road. Perfect place to fix bike tyre. Reckon, eh? Yeah, a bit of gaffer tape if it works. Wrap some gaffer tape around it. But yeah, we've thickened up that tube.
Little extra anyway.
Yeah. Oh, we'll see how we might not need. Let's try and get it back on, but yeah, really thicken that, or even just having a bit of that. So this place happens to have a compressor as well, very handy. I managed to get it up to about 25 psi. It'll be a squishy ride, but at least the tube isn't popping out of that corner there. $18 k's to go.
This is Peter. He and Jake met on the journey a few huts back. He's from Queensland, Australia.
Isn't it odd that all this time on the track and all the bike failures happen on the last day? This time it's Peter's turn. He's having some problems with his gears here, but luckily Peter carries all the tools he needs to make these sorts of repairs. Pretty quick he's back on the road, and it's only a couple of kilometres to the southern terminus of the Munda Biddi trail now.
We're moving. Some things went wrong today, but we got there in the end. Half a shredded tyre, on a budget. If I can do it, you can do it. Do it your way. Cross the line.
Halfway there.
Well done, Pete.
Well done, Jake. Good on you.
Thanks for your help today as well.
It's good. Thanks for yours. Right in that hut.
Well, you're going to sit there. So we're back. Hell of a journey that was.
Got Roger here. What did you reckon, Roger? You like Albany? Yeah, me too. He's been paid half a treat to sit in the frame with me, and he's going to get the other half if he's a good boy. That's it. Good boy. How did it go seeing the land in this fashion on a bike? It was different, yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, good boy. You like it. Good boy. You stay there. It was different, and I wanted that experience. I wanted to experience the land. Sit, stay. Yeah, you've got to stay. Wanted to experience the land in this fashion, and you can do it much more comfortably with more money. But comfort is boring to me. Imagine telling your grandkids one day, let me tell you about the time I got through life and it was all nice and comfortable. It just doesn't make for a good memory. In fact, comfort almost blocks memories from being made, in my experience anyway. So this bike I got for $100, that's Australian dollars, off Gumtree or Facebook Marketplace, I don't know. Pretty good deal. I had a bike like this in the past, but we live in the hills and I had trashed the rims on the local tracks, and I basically bought it for the rims. But the rims were good, so I just thought, well, we'll just use this bike. And look, it worked as good as a $100 bike would. There are teething problems and things you have to fix along the way, which was good fun. That makes it interesting. The panniers, which I owe to Aaron from Go Camping. These panniers were made in New Zealand for road touring in New Zealand. They're not made for off-road use. He wanted to know how they would go, and now we know. It was difficult to keep them on the bike. They were constantly falling off, so I very quickly had to use cable ties to get everything to stay where it needed to be, and then the frame was wobbling about and rubbing on the wheel. Then we had the noise that we thought was the head stem bearings sort of giving up. That turned out just to be the brake or the gear cable rubbing on the frame. So that was fine. Towards the last couple of days, maybe the last week on the track, the crank bearings did start making noise. Don't know how old they are, they've never been replaced, so that wasn't surprising. And yeah, they just started making a bit of noise. Nothing major, but look, if they keep making that noise, that noise is saying replace the bearings. And it's just a matter of time before your crank might actually just jam up if a bearing, gets in the right spot. I don't know too much about bike bearings. The chain and sprockets, we just made them last. The brakes, thank you to Crank and Cycles in Collie, fixed up the brakes a little bit. The tyres went well. I mean, you saw there, we only had one puncture, and that was on the final day of the journey, which was no ordinary puncture. It actually sort of made it very hard to fix, but we were able to limp into Albany and get it done there. So, look, panniers aren't the best way to do the Munda Biddi. Not many people do it, and for a reason. It's better to have that setup that you saw on Pete's bike, where everything is sort of strapped forward, get as much weight up the front as you can. A lot of people do it on steel frame bikes with no suspension and just bloody good tyres, and I think that's the way to go. A steel framed bike has a lot more, I don't know, they have a lot more forgiving personality to them. Aluminium bikes need suspension, otherwise you're going to get cracks. The suspension on this was pretty much, it had it before we even started the trip. and that's just what we had to work with. And they pumped out most of their grease because the seals were done, and we just gave them a clean up, but they were getting pretty squishy towards the end. And that's another experience from the $100 bike. And would I do the Munda Biddi again? Look, probably not. To be honest, I've got a lot of other things on my list to do. I wanted to cross the Munda Biddi off my list because I wanted to see the land in that way, and it was beautiful. There's no other way to see the land in that way. So see it on a bike if that's what you want to do. If you like traveling on a bike, it's a bit quicker, obviously, but I've found, compared to tracks hiking I've done in the past, a lot of the mountain bike trails, there were only bits and bobs that went through areas that you can't get to with a car. Whereas doing the Bibbulmun, that took us places that we just can't get to any other way. You have to go on foot. And that's what I love. This is all about the land in the end. It's about which way we can see the land and explore and figure out what the land needs from us. When the Noongar ancestors slowly came down the west coast of Australia and they got here, they moved very slowly because you had to learn about the land as you were going so that you could use it to survive. And over 50,000, 60,000 years, they made it work for them in a way that was sustainable. So when they dug up yams or when they hunted kangaroo, they made sure that they were taking what they needed, and excess wasn't really an option because you couldn't just kill a bunch of kangaroos and carry them with you. Uses too much energy and the meat would go off. So they found a perfect way to survive and thrive in the beauty of this land without exploiting it. And in return, it was rewarded. And I felt that reward when I travelled this track, where the land does speak to you. It speaks a language like nothing else. And it says, I'm here for you. I can help you if you let me teach you. And I'm thankful to the Noongar people and the sharing of their language that we are slowly trying to gain back, because there are pieces that are lost. We're trying to gain back that knowledge because it is the oldest culture in the world, the oldest surviving culture in the world. It has never been lost. And we can learn things about how to take care of this land because for 50,000 years it was well taken care of. If you enjoyed this series and this way of seeing the land and you'd like to see more, please do consider joining the Intense Patrons, where you get free perks, outtakes, anything rude that I can't put on YouTube. We sometimes put it up there. Gatherings, get-togethers. It's a great time, and it makes all this possible. Filming takes time, editing takes time. Okay, the time of me filming this, it has been 9 months since we finished the Munda Biddi. No, maybe 10 months. That's how long editing takes to get it all happening. It's a big effort. It's made possible by the patrons. And if you enjoyed it, please do consider being part of the patrons as well. Also, if you go to intenseoffroad.com, you can buy shirts, stubby holders, all that sort of stuff, which makes this possible so we can bring fantastic videos of the land to you as we do this journey together and try and figure out more about this beautiful land that we have and get the privilege of looking after. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Roger, you've been such a good boy. You get the second half of your treats, but I think people would like to see your tricks. Yeah? So you're going to have to work for this. Get here. Here. So the camera can see you. That's good boy. Okay, we've got treats here. So you're going to speak. Big speak. Yeah, good boy. Shake. Good boy. You want to do some more tricks?
This adventure was made possible by Intense, Outback Sound and Go Camping. Special thanks to nungarbudja.com.au and the Munda Biddi Foundation.